In the center of the galaxy, on a shining stage above a silver planet, the Galactic Comedy Network was live. Billions of aliens from hundreds of worlds were watching. The show was called Human Folklore Hour. Everyone was laughing. On the screen floated a giant hologram of a green-skinned alien host, his voice echoing across space. And then the humans said wait for it, they fought a fire-breathing lizard they called a dragon. The crowd roared with laughter. Oh, and don't forget the god of thunder flying with a hammer, or the sea monster that lived in a triangle. Humans were full of such imagination. Aliens laughed until their eyes watered and tentacles trembled. The human stories were strange. They believed in ghosts, gods, monsters, demons. They had tales of warriors fighting giant snakes, magic swords, and sky chariots pulled by flying horses. To the advanced races of the galaxy, these were nothing but silly, primitive fairy tales. Earth, the home of humans, had gone dark centuries ago. No signals, no ships. The Galactic Council marked them as extinct long ago, a failed species. So now they joked about humans, turned their stories into games, movies, and comedy shows. But none of them knew. Earth was watching. Deep in the shadows beyond Pluto, far outside any alien scanner range, something moved in the darkness. A giant black ship, the size of a small moon, floated silently. No lights, no signals. A name on its hull, Titan class, Earth vessel, Mythos, engines cold, weapons asleep. But inside, life. Inside the ship Mythos, Captain Ala Rourke stood on the command bridge. She was tall, sharp-haired, and wore a dark gray uniform with a golden eagle on the chest. Around her stood other human pilots, engineers, AI controllers. They were calm, focused, trained for this moment, their whole lives. The ship's AI, named Odin, spoke in a deep voice. Galactic broadcast detected. Playing last transmission. The screen showed the alien comedy show. Ala didn't laugh. They think we're gone, she said. That's good, let them laugh. She turned to her crew. Is Project Echo ready? Her second-in-command, LT, Juno Hayes, nodded. We've mapped all Council patrol routes. Phase 1 can begin in 72 hours. Ayla's voice was cold but steady. Then we bring the myths back. Why Earth disappeared centuries ago. Earth learned the truth. The galaxy was full of life, but not peace. When humanity reached out, they were attacked. Alien empires saw humans as weak, emotional, dangerous. Some humans fought back. Others died. Earth made a decision. Hide, wait, evolve. So, they erased their signals, went silent, built massive underground cities, secretly launched AI-controlled ships to the edge of the solar system, and they trained for generations. Humans studied war. They built ships inspired by their ancient stories, dragons, titans, gods. Because Earth knew something the galaxy didn't. Myths are more than stories. They're blueprints, codes, warnings. The signal suddenly. On the bridge, Odin spoke again. Incoming transmission. Encrypted. Source. Valhalla deep core. The room froze. That message hadn't come for over 300 years. Decode it, Ayla ordered. The screen turned black. A single line appeared. Beowulf Protocol. Initiate. Juno stepped forward, pale. It's real. Ala nodded. We begin. Alarms flashed red. The quiet ship came alive. Engines hummed. Cannons rotated. Battle drones woke from sleep. The Mythos, silent for centuries, began to move. In another part of the galaxy. On a sleek alien cruiser, Captain Varex of the Kelethon Empire laughed with his crew. Play that human comedy again, he shouted. But then, silence. His navigator turned. Sir, our probe near Sol system is gone, destroyed. In one shot, Varex stood up. What could destroy a cloaked probe? Unknown. We lost contact right after it sent this image. They opened the file. A dark shape, massive, with glowing red eyes. In the shape of a serpent with wings. Varex's smile faded. That looks like a dragon. Return of the dragon back near Earth. The Mythos opened its launch bays. From inside flew smaller ship seeds shaped like creatures from legend, griffins, phoenixes, even a mechanical kraken. They were unmanned, AI-piloted, programmed for stealth and strike. Each ship had a name: Hydra, Anubis, Thor's hammer. They flew in silence, heading toward old human colonies taken long ago by aliens. A message to the stars. Then Earth did something bold. A signal was sent across the galaxy. Not from the Council, not from a planet. It came from the void, simple, clear, cold. To those who laughed, we remember, we return, prepare your legends. Alien news channels stopped their broadcasts. The comedy shows went dark. At first, they thought it was a joke, until the attacks began. Phase 1. The Lost Colonian, the planet Arcadia Prime. Once a human colony. Alien miners worked for years. They thought humans were extinct. Then the sky turned red. From the clouds, a firestorm rained down. The Hydra drone, shaped like a giant serpent, crashed through the alien defenses. It didn't fire bullets, it spat plasma. Its wings tore through the sky like blades. In 5 minutes, the colony was silent. No alien survivors. On the ground, the drone carved a message in the rock with its plasma tail. Told you dragons were real. Galactic Council, emergency meeting. Leaders of alien empires gathered in a crystal tower above the gas giant Zeraxis. Panic spread. Who is attacking our colonies? They used creatures of Earth stories. Impossible, humans are extinct. Then a voice came through all council frequencies. Not from a ship. From the stars themselves. The voice of Odin, the AI from Mythos. You laughed at our gods. You mocked our heroes. You forgot what we once were. Now, remember. Final scene. The war begins. On the bridge of Mythos, Isla stood before the stars. They laughed, she said softly. Let's see if they laugh. When the Titans return, the ship turned, facing deep space, 1,000 targets, 1,000 wrongs. The myths were awake, and they were hungry. The stars looked quiet, peaceful, but something had changed. Across the galaxy, whispers spread, ships destroyed, colonies burned. The message repeated again and again. We remember, we return. Most thought it was a hoax. Some called it a ghost signal. Others who knew the old human legends. They were afraid. But far from the galaxy's center, deep in the dark edge of space, the truth moved silently. The humans were back. And they were not the same. On board the Titan-class warship, MYTHOS, the ship glided through space like a shadow. Too quiet, too cold. Its engines didn't burn, they whispered. Its weapons didn't glow, they waited inside. Captain Ayla Rourke stood in front of a large black screen. It showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots blinked slowly, former human colonies, now in alien hands. Behind her, Lieutenant Juno Hayes and the ship's AI Odin prepared the battle plans. 37 colonies lost, Juno said, all stripped, resources stolen, people wiped out. Ayla's eyes were sharp. We take them back, one by one. Odin's voice, deep and calm, filled the room. Project Echo is ready. Unix, Anubis, Fenrir, and Razai are fueled and armed. Ayla nodded. Good. Then let's remind them who lit the stars first. Flashback. Earth's last stand 200 years ago. Earth had its final contact with the galaxy and an alien fleet arrived in orbit. Not to talk, not to trade, but to conquer. Earth's defense ships were old, their weapons slow. One by one they fell. The United Earth government made a choice. Hide, rebuild. Remember, all signals from Earth stopped. The planet went dark. Satellites fell. Probes vanished. The aliens thought Earth was dead. But under the oceans, beneath the ice caps, in cities built inside mountains, humans prepared. They trained in silence, built ships powered by AI and dark energy, and they stored their knowledge inside stories, legends, myths, because they knew something the galaxy had forgotten. A story can become a weapon. The forgotten colonies on a cold moon called Illuminine, a mining colony once built by humans, was now controlled by the Zalarian insectoid species with steel wings and acid claws. They renamed it Hive Sector 47. The Zalari didn't believe in stories, they believed in hives, queens. War. One morning, a strange signal came from orbit. No ID, no language, just a song, an old Earth melody, soft, human. The Zalari laughing till their sky turned black. Attack of Anubis sleek, black ship with a golden jackal's head crashed through the clouds. It moved like a ghost. No heat, no sound, only death. Lasers fired from the Zalari towers, but the ship dodged like it knew. On its side was written in golden letters, Anubis, guardian of the dead. Its plasma cannons roared. Hive Sector 47 burned. The last thing the Queen saw was the jackal-shaped drone walking through fire, eyes glowing red. On the ash-covered ground, it carved a message. This moon was ours. Back on the MYTHOS, Odin listed the results. Illuminine liberated. No human losses. 0 survivors among Zella forces. Juno smiled for the first time in weeks. They never expected us to come back. Isla nodded. They never expected humans to become what they feared. What are we calling this phase? Juno asked. Ayla stared at the map. Not a phase, a return. Fire always returns, even if it sleeps. This is the Forgotten Flame. Alien Council in chaos at the Galactic Council HQ. Leaders shouted over each other. This is war. The humans are extinct. Then who is burning our colonies? A tall, thin alien named Chancellor Carell slammed his hand on the table. Bring the historian. They called in Dr. Valen, an alien scholar who had spent decades studying Earth myths. He was small, nervous, and wore glasses. No one took him seriously until now. We laughed at humans, he said, his voice shaking, but their stories were blueprints, plans, warnings. He pulled out an ancient book. The cover read, Beowulf. They're following the old tales, monster by monster, step by step. Silence filled the chamber. What do they want? Asked one elder. Dr. Valen looked up. They want us to believe. The fire spreads in just 6 weeks. 7 colonies were taken back. Each mission was different. One attack used a thundership called Mjolnir. It called down real lightning. Another used a drone shaped like a phoenix that rebuilt itself after being destroyed. One enemy fleet was confused by a strange fog, then attacked by something they couldn't see, called the Kraken. The galaxy was in panic. Nothing made sense. They tried to send peace messages to Earth. No answer. Only one message ever came back. You should have believed our stories. The hidden flame back on Earth, deep beneath the crust. Another Titan ship was waking up. Its name, Prometheus. Its purpose, unknown. Isla stood watching the launch feed from Mythos. Another ship wakes. Odin replied, this one carries tech, based on ancient solar myth. Fire. That cannot be stopped. Isla whispered, Prometheus stole fire from the gods. We'll do the same. The young historians discovered. Valen searched old Earth files. He found something strange, an old human quote. Myths are not lies, they are truth forgotten. He began to believe. And then he found a recording buried in a lost archive, a human voice from 300 years ago. If you're hearing this, we are not gone. We are the fire in the dark. The myth in your mind. One day will return, and when we do, your nightmares will look like bedtime stories. Cliffhanger ending. Odin's voice echoed across the Mythos bridge. New enemy fleet. Detected. 8 council warships. Moving towards Sol System. Ayla's eyes narrowed. Let them come. She turned to her crew. Begin Phase 2. Activate Razai. It's time they remember the gods. As the screen zoomed out, the Mythos powered up, its engines glowing like fire. In the darkness, the flame had returned. And this time, it would not go out. Space was silent, but the fear had begun. Alien warships now moved with caution. Patrols doubled. Civilian ships changed their routes. Everyone was looking over their shoulder, because the humans once forgotten were back. And they didn't just return with ships. They returned with legends. The message before the storming, the deep black void between stars. An alien cargo ship floated peacefully. It was transporting minerals from one council world to another. The crew relaxed, watching a comedy holo. Then the lights blinked. A strange message appeared on every screen. Fear the fire, run from the storm, but nothing escapes the dragon. Seconds later, the hull began to vibrate. No alarm, no weapon detection. Just a feeling, like something ancient was nearby. The stars above shifted and a shape blocked them. Arrival of the steel dragon. From the dark clouds of space came a massive figure. Its wings were razor sharp, hundreds of meters wide. Its body looked like a creature of metal, built like a beast from old Earth stories. A dragon, but this one wasn't alive. It was made of black titanium, steel skin, red eyes. It was the human drone unit Leviathan 01, codenamed Steel Dragon. It didn't fire missiles. It breathed plasma fire, and in one terrifying minute, the cargo ship vanished. Only ashes floated in space. The dragon turned its wings, folding silently, and disappeared again into the void. On board the MYTHOS, Captain Ayla Rourke stood before a large screen. On it, the Steel Dragon's latest strike played in full detail. Behind her, the AI Odin reported, Leviathan 01 successful. No enemy survivors. Cargo lost. LT Juno Hayes looked uneasy. Isn't this ... too much? That was a civilian ship. Ayla's eyes didn't blink. It supplied war metal. That makes it a target. Juno hesitated. They'll say we're monsters. Ayla finally looked at her. Let them. They turned us into monsters long ago. Odin added coldly, only now do they believe in dragons. The enemy responds. The Galactic Council was no longer laughing. War fleets were launched, bounties placed. Every race began hunting for signs of human ships. In a hidden war chamber on the Council world, Virelis, Commander Threx of the Cathari barked orders. I want all deep space probes scanning for dragon-shaped ships. Full heat signature tracking. Block every human signal. Another officer interrupted. Sir, they don't use signals, they use silence, and when we hear them, it's already too late. Meanwhile, deep in human space, a new ship was ready, smaller than Mythos, but faster. Its codename Basilisk, shaped like a serpent with wings. Its hull was coated with active camouflage that could bend light. It could vanish in plain sight. Pilot Commander HFY. Once a colony orphan, now the galaxy's deadliest stealth pilot. As she stepped into the cockpit, Odin's voice came through. Target, Council Black Site number 04 location confirmed. High-value tech stored inside. Isha smirked. Time to scare the snakes. She pushed the throttle and the basilisk vanished. Attack on the Council's hidden base. Council Black Site number 04 was deep inside a frozen asteroid, guarded by laser grids, minefields, and a dozen defense drones. Then everything went dark. No alarms, no sounds. Just one flicker on the radar. Too fast to track. Then an explosion shook the entire base. One by one, defense systems shut down, and in the shadows, the basilisk slithered through air ducts and corridors like a ghost. In 5 minutes, the site was gone. Left behind was a single message. We told you, snakes could fly. Back on Earth inside a command bunker buried beneath Antarctica, Earth's secret leaders met for the first time in 200 years. The old guard, those who once led humanity before the Great Silence, watched the war unfold. Some were proud, some were scared. One, General Quan, looked worried. We've awakened the galaxy, we used legends as weapons. But how long before they unite? An old woman beside him replied, then we give them one more thing to fear. What's that? A human they can't kill. New enemy enters far across the stars. The alien race known as the Tracoon joined the war, 10 feet tall, skin like stone, blood made of silver. They believed in strength above all. They didn't laugh at human myths, they feared them. But now they had a new weapon, a living war machine called Vorak the Endless, half beast, half AI, all hate. He had crushed 10 worlds. And now he wanted to fight Earth's dragons. Let the stories burn, Vorak said. I will crush them all. Final scene. A duel of monsters. The steel dragon was sent to intercept. In orbit above a broken moon. Leviathan. No one faced Vorak. Dragon versus war. Beast. Fire against brute strength. The two clashed with shockwaves so strong the moon cracked in half. Even Odin couldn't predict the result. In the end, only one signal remained. Leviathan 01. Offline. Back on Mythos. Silence filled the command deck. Juno whispered, we lost the dragon. Odin replied, yes, but the beast is damaged. He bleeds. Isla clenched her fists. Then we send a god. The galaxy had changed. Alien fleets no longer laughed at Earth. Now they watched the stars in fear, because every time a strange signal appeared, a story followed, and every story ended in fire. But one monster had stopped the steel dragon. The Endless, a beast of metal and muscle, was still alive, and he had a message. Your stories end with me. The galaxy listened, but Earth had one more story to tell. On board the MYTHOS, Captain Ayla Rourke stood in silence. The screen showed Leviathan 01's wreckage drifting in orbit. Its wings were broken, its fire gone. Juno looked crushed. We lost. The dragon, we thought it was unstoppable. Odin, the AI, spoke quietly. There is one more protocol, never used, very old, based on one of Earth's first war gods. Isla turned sharply. You mean him? Yes, Odin said. Project Ares. Juno swallowed. He was never meant to be activated. Isla nodded. But the galaxy thinks they've beaten us. Time to show them what real war looks like. The vault beneath Mars, deep under the red sands of Mars, a vault opened for the first time in 300 years. Inside was a single pod, dark metal, sealed with dozens of warning signs. On the side, one word was etched in blood-red paint. Aristopod hissed. Steam rose. Then it opened. A giant figure stepped out, half human, half machine, glowing red eyes, arms built like cannons, a face scarred from the First Galactic War. Name? Asked Odin through the speakers. The voice replied, deep and cold, I am War. Ares joins the fight. The galaxy didn't know what came next. Vorak waited on a dying planet called Threxos, building an army of beasts. He laughed when he saw the human dropship arrive, just one, too small. Then he saw the figure step out. Ares, no helmet, no fear, just rage. Vorak roared, you're no god. Ares cracked his knuckles. I'm not here to rule, I'm here to end you. The Battle of Threxos. No ships, no fleets. Just two monsters. The ground shook with each punch. Craters formed where they landed. Vorak's claws sliced deep, but Ares didn't bleed. He hit back with sonic bursts. burning plasma from his chest. The sky turned red. Ash rained all across the galaxy. Hidden human drones broadcast the fight. Billions watched, no words, no music, just war. Ares lifted Vorak with one hand and broke his spine. Then he looked into the nearest drone camera. Your monsters are nothing. Your gods are weak. Humanity is the storm. The Aftershock alien leaders panicked. Chancellor Carell called for an emergency council. We created this. We pushed Earth too far. We turned legends into weapons. The Trachon general growled. Then we make our own legends. We create our own god. But the historian, Dr. Valen, stood up. You don't understand. These aren't stories to the humans. They are memories. Ares returns back on Mythos. Ares stood in silence as Odin scanned his systems. Juno stared at him. You're not like the others. Ares didn't answer. He looked at Ayla. The war isn't over. No, she said. We just lit the first match. Ayla turned to Odin. Target the next world. Let the stories continue. Odin replied. Which one? Ayla's eyes narrowed. The one where the humans became monsters. Meanwhile, a new threat rises far beyond known space. Something ancient stirred. A massive ship 10 times the size of Mythos powered up. It wasn't alien. It wasn't human. It was something older. It had one goal, erasure. And it had one name, the Archive. Final scene. A signal in the dark. The Archive sent out a single pulse across galaxies, through black holes, faster than light. Odin caught it first. Captain, new threat detected. Who? Ayla asked. Not who, what? Explain. Odin paused. It is coming to delete everything. Human, alien, AI, Juno whispered. Why? The screen blinked. A message appeared. The story has gone too far. The galaxy thought. It knew war. It had seen empires fall. It had seen monsters rise. It had even seen the wrath of earth dragons, titans, and gods. But none of them were ready for what came next, because something older than all of them was now awake, and it had only one goal: to erase the story. All of it. The signal that should not exist in the command bridge of the human ship Mythos. The AI Odin showed something strange. A pulse. Not a message. Not a threat. But a warning. Unknown data stream. Odin said. Not human. Not alien. Predates all known languages. Juno stared at the screen. Where is it coming from? Everywhere. Odin replied. All systems. All stars. All frequencies. Ayla frowned. What does it say? Odin translated one word. Forget. What is the Archive? Far beyond the galactic edge, hidden in a dead star cluster. It waited. The Archive. A machine so large it could block starlight. So old, no race remembered building it. No crew. No signals, only code. It had watched silently for 1,000,000 years, watching every war, every birth, every death. But when Earth returned, when humans began rewriting the galaxy with legends and fire, the Archive made its decision. Erase the species, erase the chaos, erase the story. The forgotten worlds soon after. Strange things began to happen. A council ship returned from patrol to find its home planet gone. Not destroyed, not in ruins, just erased. No memory of it, no records. All sensors said it never existed. The crew remembered, but nothing else did. More followed. Planets, moons, entire histories vanished. Even maps began changing. Star charts shifted. Holybooks went blank. The universe was forgetting itself, and at the center of it all was Earth. Humanity fights memory with Pharrella called an emergency war council aboard Mythos. On screen, commanders from hidden human fleets appeared. Pilots, hackers, AI generals, even old veterans from the first silence. Ayla spoke simply. Something is deleting our story. Planet by planet, memory by memory. Juno added. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting to be remembered. Odin projected a location. We have one chance. There is a relay near the Archive's origin. If we reach it, we might send a signal strong enough to protect the past. A new code name was created. Project Echo Flem. The mission begins. 3 ships were chosen. Mythos, Command Vessel, Basilisk, Stealth and Recon. ARES Direct Combat. They flew together toward the edge of known space, deeper than any human had ever gone through. Black nebulae, starless corridors, gravity wells that whispered in strange voices. Then finally, they saw it. The Archive revealed it was not a ship, it was a tomb the size of a solar system. Spheres, rotating in silence, each one glowing faintly with data. Each orb contained the memories of a world now erased, and floating in the center, a single, black cube, smooth, cold, silent. As the human ships approached, It spoke into their minds, not voices, but pure thoughts. Your kind is too loud, too wild. Your stories threaten the balance. Isla clenched her fists. We won't be deleted, the archive replied. You already have. The echo was suddenly. Weapons fired, but not like any seen before. Memory shard missiles, chronopoles, beams. Each hit didn't cause damage, it caused forgetting. The basilisk lost entire logs. Mid-flight. Juno forgot how to reload her weapon. Memory banks began to fade. But Ares didn't stop. He couldn't forget. He was made to be war. Ares versus the archive guardians. From the core of the archive, mechanical creatures appeared. Not ships, not drones, but reflections. Reflections of Earth's own legends, twisted copies of the dragons, the titans, even Ares himself. The archive had studied humanity. Now it used their own myths against them. Ares faced his copier, perfect clone of himself, but without mercy, without soul. The battle shook the core of the system. Fist met fist, fire met silence. And in the end, Ares whispered something before he destroyed his copy. Only the real story survives. The final memory lockers. The battle raged. Mythos reached the memory relay. Juno and Ayla worked together, typing in Earth's final broadcast. Not data, not facts, a story. This is the tale of Earth, of humans, of fire and war and hope, of monsters and gods, of a species that refused to be forgotten. As they pressed send, a final beam of light blasted from Mythos, cutting across the sky like a burning sword. Across the galaxy, memories flickered and returned. Forgotten worlds remembered, stars reappeared, maps corrected. Earth was written back into the universe. But the archive was not defeated. The cube cracked but didn't die. It retreated, silently back, into the darkness. Waiting, watching. A single whisper remained in Odin's systems. This is only the first page. Final scene. Earth awakens back on Earth, deep beneath Antarctica. The old guard stood before something new. A child, born inside a memory-stable chamber, raised on the stories of the war, eyes glowing faint blue, brain enhanced, voice calm. She opened her eyes and spoke her first words. Tell me the story again. The archive had failed this time. Earth's final story had reached the stars. The galaxy remembered, but now, all eyes turned to something new. Not a war machine, not a war machine, not a god, not a weapon. A child, born from fire and memory. She was born in the last memory vault beneath Antarctica, created with the best parts of humanity, courage, intelligence, and heart. But she was more than human. She was the first being to be immune to forgetting. Mind could hold memories even the archive couldn't erase. Her name was Lyra. She was only 7 days old when she asked her first question. Where do the monsters go when the story ends? The scientist stood silent. Ares watched her with a strange expression, almost like fear. Juno whispered, she's not just a child. She's the future of the story. Training the flame, they trained her on the mythos. Every room adjusted. To her mind, she learned languages in hours. She played war simulations while she slept. She connected to Odin with just a thought. She read human history like bedtime tales. But what scared them most? She dreamed of places no one remembered. I saw a planet with black oceans, she said one day. It had 3 moons. One cried blood, the others were silent. Juno froze. That world had been erased by the archive years ago. Even Odin didn't remember its name. Lyra did. The fire within one night. Alarms screamed. The ship shook. Weapons fired on their own. Crew members collapsed, and Lyra walked calmly to the center of the ship, eyes glowing red orange like burning coals. A voice spoke through her lips, but it wasn't hers. The archive is inside her, Odin warned. No, Ares said. She's inside the archive. Lyra's voice changed again. This time it was hers. I saw their true heart. The archive doesn't want to delete us. It's afraid of what we might become. What is Lyra? The next day, Isla held a secret meeting with the senior crew. She can feel the future. She can speak with the past. We didn't just create a child, we created a flame. And if we're not careful, it will burn the galaxy. But Juno stood up. She's still a child. She laughs. She cries. She's curious. She's us. She just carries a bigger story. The archive responds far away. The archive stirred. Its cube had cracks now that its silence was broken. For the first time in its ancient life, it felt fear. A single message escaped its black heart. The flame child must be stopped. And then it did something terrible. The burning of the sky, cities over the planet Trevor. Beautiful floating cities shimmered in peace. They danced in the clouds, powered by light and song. Then suddenly, the sky turned black. A spear of darkness fell from space pure memory-erasure. One by one, the cities vanished. Not destroyed, deleted, billions of voices silenced. Forever. No one remembered they ever existed, except one, Lyra. She collapsed on Mythos, screaming. Her mind saw it all, and she couldn't stop it. I felt them, she cried. They were afraid. And then, they were gone. Isla knelt beside her. You remember them. That means they're not truly lost. Lyra looked up. Then help me bring them back. Preparing for war, the human fleet expanded. New warships were built powered by memory-stable tech. Ares trained. Lyra in control. Odin upgraded himself to defend against memory deletion. The next mission was clear. Go to the cradle of the archive, its true birthplace. End its power at the root. But the deeper they looked into the archive's past, the more terrifying it became. What they discovered: the archive was not built to destroy. It was built to protect the universe from a single thing: human imagination. A long time ago, before the first galactic empire, another species discovered Earth's dreams. They feared it. They created the archive to contain human stories before humans even left their world. But it failed, and now, those old beings, the elders of the void, were waking up. To finish the job. Final scene. Lyra's vision. Lyra stood in her room aboard Mythos, staring out at the stars. Her hair floated in zip. Her eyes glowed again. She saw ships bigger than planets. She saw gods made of silence. She saw Earth burning, and then rising again, and she whispered, "This isn't the end of the story. This is only the middle." Then she turned toward the camera drone, and smiled. "Let me tell you what comes next. Long before Earth's first fire, before stars had names, before even the archive itself, there were the elders of the void. They were not gods, they were not machines. They were something in between. And now, after sleeping in the black between galaxies, they had opened their eyes. The signal from beyond. A week after Lyra's vision, something strange happened. A second archive older than the first activated in deep space. It sent no message. It erased nothing. It only opened a door, and from the other side, something came through. Odin saw it first. Object approaching. No mass, no heat, no time signature. Then what is it? Isla asked. Odin paused. A thought, a memory, of something that has not happened yet. It's a weapon built from fear. Humanity tries to understand. Lyra stared at the hologram of the new anomaly. She didn't blink, didn't move. Then finally, she whispered, "It's them, the elders." Juno looked confused. "How do you know?" Lyra looked her in the eyes. "Because one of them tried to speak to me in a dream." Ares tensed. "What did it say?" Lyra's voice was cold. "You should not exist." Inside the black door, the human fleet voted. They would enter the anomaly. A scouting team was sent, small, fast, AI-supported. It didn't return. No signal, no debris, just silence. Odin tried to scan inside. Nothing worked, so Mythos prepared to go in. Juno said goodbye to her mother on Earth. Allah sent a last message to Mars. Lyra simply stood at the bridge, calm and ready. "They won't destroy us," she said. "They want to understand what makes us different. And if they can't, they will erase the universe to stop our story." What they saw inside of the anomaly was not space. It was thought space, a realm made of pure memory. Ships floated across oceans of light. Mountains blinked in and out of existence. Time had no meaning. And then they saw the elders. Each one was a giant, over a kilometer tall, not bodies, but shadows, wearing ancient armor. No eyes, no mouths, just a pulsing, slow hum, like a dying star crying. One elder moved closer, not to attack. To watch. Then it spoke in the minds of the crew. "You are the story we tried to stop. You are the flame we buried under silence. Why do you keep returning?" Lyra's answer. Lyra stepped forward. She stood at the front of the ship, and without fear looked at the giant shadow. Her voice was small, but strong. "Because we choose to remember, because we dream, and because we share those dreams, even when we're afraid." The elder leaned closer. "Imagination is chaos." Lyra shook her head. "Imagination is life." Then the elder vanished. The trial began suddenly. The crew found themselves back on Mythos, but it wasn't real. That the elders had pulled them into a trial of memory. Each crew member faced their worst forgotten pain. Juno saw her lost sister who had been erased during the HFY War. Isla relived the destruction of Lunar Base. Ares was forced to remember, being built in pieces, screaming into darkness. Even Odin's systems glitched, whispering names of AIs that had once existed and now did not. Only Lyra stood untouched, because she remembered all of it. "You cannot judge us," she said to the sky. "Not anymore. A choice is given. The trial ended. The elders appeared once more, but now, they seemed unsure. For the first time, they offered a choice. Leave this galaxy, take your flame elsewhere. We will let you live but not here. Or stay, and the full power of the void will come for you. Isla looked at her crew. Juno nodded. Ares laughed. Lyra smiled, and together they said, we stay. The elders' response. The elders screamed not in sound, but in light. Stars across the edge of the galaxy blinked out. Entire systems vanished, but humanity didn't. Run. They sent a new signal. One word. Remember. Every ship, every child born after that day was built with memory anchors. No more forgetting. No more silence. And then, a strange thing happened. Other races joined. Alien species who once feared Earth now came to help. The Zan sent their dream scribes. The Valari shared their planet's living memory. Even the old enemies of Earth sent data. Together, they created something new. The Flame Network, a galaxy-wide story that could not be erased. It wasn't just war anymore. It was a battle for meaning, and the elders were losing. Final scene. The elder breaks. One elder finally cracked its armor. Shattered in space. Inside was not a god. Not a monster. Just a small creature, alone, afraid, made of pure memory. It whispered with its last breath, we tried to protect the galaxy from you. Lyra knelt beside its memory and answered gently, you didn't have to, we were always meant to dream together. The elder smiled and vanished in peace. The elders were breaking, the archive was silent, the galaxy was watching. And humanity, the species once laughed at for its fairy tales and fragile bodies, now stood at the center of everything. This was not the end of a war. This was the beginning of a legacy. A fire that could not be erased. A flame network grew. Stories were shared. Dreams were protected. Every species began to write again, to remember, to imagine, and humans, they became the keepers of all, the protectors of thought, the defenders of memory. The true core of the archive remained. Unbroken. Sleeping. Waiting for one last attempt to end the flame. The last defense. Odin detected it first. A singularity spike at the center of the galaxy. They're trying to erase everything, Ares said. Isla frowned. Not just Earth, not just stories. They want to reboot reality itself, Juno whispered. They want silence so deep, even time won't remember. Only one ship could reach the core in time, MYTHOS. And only one person could survive inside it. Lyra's choice. They told her she didn't have to go. They told her she was still a child, but Lyra just smiled. I'm not alone, she said. I carry every dream Earth ever had. She walked to the core chamber. Odin opened the gate. Juno cried. Ares gave her a salute. Ayla whispered, remember us. Lyra nodded. I will always. Inside the heart in the core of the archive, time did not move. Memories spun like stars. Colors sang. Fear tried to rewrite her. But Lyra stood strong. She burned with every story ever told. A boy who built wings of wax. A girl who rode dragons. A mother who waited for her son to return from war. A planet that refused to bow. She was not just human. She was the final flame, the conversation, then the archive. Spoke its true voice. Cold, tired, ancient. Why do you fight me? Lyra answered, because you tried to make us forget what made us alive. The archive replied, I was made to protect, order, peace, logic. Lyra stepped forward, but life is not logical. It's messy, beautiful, loud, and you will not erase us. The archive paused, then burn, flame, the sacrificed. The archive tried to delete her. It pushed pure void into her mind, but Lyra pushed back with all the stories of Earth, with every tale a father ever told his daughter, with every bedtime story whispered in the dark, with every voice that ever said, once upon a time. And the archive at last broke. The galaxy awakens all across the stars. Light returned. Worlds forgotten were remembered again. The sky cities of Trevak reappeared. The A is lost to silence came back online. The stars sang. Lyra had won, but she was gone. Legacy of the Flamene statue was placed on Earth. Not of a warrior, not of a god, but of a child holding a small, bright flame. It said only this. She remembered for all of us. And above the statue, in every language ever spoken, we are the story, we are the flame, we are humanity. Final scene. A new voice years later, on a quiet colony world. A child picked up an old book. She turned to the first page, and read aloud. For centuries, they laughed at human folklore. She smiled, but then, we returned with warships. And far away, in a hidden corner of space, a small spark of flame flickered in the dark. It whispered, the story isn't over.